Hey guys, Beast Force here and welcome back to my Phineas and Ferb breakdown. As we've done the first part of Where's Perry, as we're going to focus on the second part of the same episode, as the next one will be the 11-minute episode, as this is your backstory, as we got 4 episodes to break down left.
Perry, Agent P, followed by an exclusive sneak peek
Perry!
of the action-packed Where's Perry finale next Saturday at 2/1 Central.
Fun fact, the video uploaded the promo is Carly Bella, who does a lot of her own and art style in Instagram, which I recommend you follow her there. Part 1 filled with a lot of promise and a lot of build up to lead to intention, with Evil Carl, the high unconventional vehicle going under, and also Candace knowing that her boyfriend's breaking up with her. And then part 2, we had to wait for weeks to happen, and it turned out it was completely underwhelming. There were a lot of scenes that were very randomness. There were a lot of questions that answer. There's a lot of scenes that have a huge payoff but no resolution, which is the old part in this episode. And there were a video called Why Where's Perry is Phineas and Ferb's most disappointing episode. None other than Wow Slash. I recommend you watch his video right there, but I won't put a description there, but I recommend you find it. And he has some interesting points which caught my eye, which is the reason why I didn't jump in the bandwagon. It just gives me interest of that. And no, I am not rage baiting or making some clickbait titles for that. I'm just giving my own thoughts of the episode. If it's good, it's good. If it was not great, I will count it out. But if it's bad, I will call it out. But I don't think this episode is bad. It's just that there are scenes that are kind of underwhelming. There are plenty good scenes, good jokes, good animation, good songs, but it's not quite lived up to the hype with Where's Perry Part 1. If this is your first breakdown and you're curious to know how the rating system works, there's a detailed description down below, along with my other videos that also have the link that has the description down below in my playlist. Written by Aliki Theophilopoulos, Derek Thompson, Edgar Cartapan, John Mathot, John Coltenberg, and Kyle Menke wrote an episode called Where's Perry Part 2. Premiered on August the 24th, 2012 on Disney Channel US. And also a famous voice actress birthday, Grey Delisle, who turned 39 at the time in August the 24th. Agent Pete's fate is finally revealed in the action-packed finale of the 2-part television special that left Phineas, Ferb and the gang literally hanging off in an uncharted gorge, and Candace frantic over a phone call with Jeremy that left their relationship status in limbo. Now with Agent Pete nowhere in sight, Dr. Doofer and Major Monica square off against Evil Carl, who controls a set of familiar-looking robots to take over the old owl car in one of the biggest battles yet.
It took 3 hours for them to untangle my years later, and they've...
No, my apologies.
And he apologized just because Phineas and Ferb fell with the high unconventional vehicle with the gang, and also Perry the Platypus disappearing, and just to play the dramatic effect. It's just like over dramatic, but whatever.
I can't take over the tri-state area. Quiet back there.
I know Carl is evil, but Major Monogram at least gives you some praise, but you tell him to be quiet. Okay.
Or just in general, all this mess myself.
I like how Carl is investigating what happened and what Anea did hit Perry, as all of the Aneas hit Perry.
Is wrong on the disintegrator.
Hanginator isn't plugged in.
Hanginator is just plain dumb.
The last episode, it had 13 Anea, but in this episode, it has 4, which is still one part or 2 part of to begin with.
Hanginator? No. Personator just hit this trash.
Why does it have a universe Anea while it's in the trash?
Did you make a smudgeinator? Is the go-hominator?
If that was normal Carl, he would solve it, but it would be difficult. But Evil Carl is very smart. He knows that the Anea hit the go home in it, as he will think Perry the Platypus is back in Maple Drive, but instead he's in Africa. But we'll get there once we see the scene. And Carl's gonna use the OWCA jet to go to the Flynn Fletchers and in Africa, while Major Monogram will have a Why is Lawrence is putting a pineapple in the jet craft of the OWCA? I like how Carl's checking it.
You work for the OWC.
Any more, Mono Grandpa?
To be honest, I wouldn't blame Carl for quitting the OWCA because Major Monocron's kind of being an arsehole to him, but he does become actually a commander in At Your Age, which will be the segue to it.
He's playing you.
I'm part of the team.
He leave you behind.
He thinks that Carl is part of Doofus versus team, while he did throw him out, to be fair, toward the door as we've seen it, but Doofus will finally comes to a realization that he is using him.
I'm a bundle of unbridled neuroses. I break up with me too.
That was because the phone signal is so bad, and to think that Candace thinks that Jeremy broke up with her, and that is not the case in 2. We see Robot Candace gives her a new phone once we get to it, but Candace is being too overly dramatic for things which we see, which is part of her character trope, but this is actually good for a character for an episode like this.
Even the tree broke up with me. Candace is out. I'm going native.
Even though Candace being too dramatic, I have no problem with the Candace scene with the monkey, so I think that's the only best part that makes sense for this episode, where many of the part of this episode fall into randomness.
But it's not like I don't have other stuff to do. Off into space like that.
This is where the episode's starting to fall into randomness. I know people, they survived. It could have been way creative if they show it, but how did they get into the vines while the high unconventional vehicle got crushed in the ground? They would have absolutely lost their lives for that, but they actually do survive, which makes sense. But how did they get into the vines? There could have been a creative way to do it, but it is so random, but which has been the start of the downfall of this episode.
Help us, Phineas!
Phineas is looking down there because Perry the Platypus is in Africa, which makes no sense, but there could have been other ways to make sure the go home and have more explanation, like he's been sent home, but he's actually in Africa, which we need the inspiration, but we don't get it. Phineas being creative as usual by swinging a device to save his friends.
Taking into account wind velocity and humidity. Brains!
Buford's gotta be thanking Baljeet for saving his life. Remember how he almost got cooked right there? And Buford was still bullying him, but it all goes back to normal. But Buford should be thanking him for saving his life. The last time the Baljeet said Buford was in bully code when he got choked and it pulled it out of it.
Guys, Perry needs our help.
Carl is very lucky that the real Finn Fletcher family is in Africa instead of home, because if they know if they're robots, it would have turned into a chaos. Front face Phineas with a robot this time. Grandpa Clyde is to see, imagine they woke up and found about this, it would have just turned into chaos. Candace thinks that Jeremy broke up with him, which is not the case, as it turned out to be a broken signal, but you can see that she is very obsessive with Jeremy, and you get to see the picture of Ron Candace Ron.
Jeremy, human boyfriend.
Oh, I was trying to tell you before.
And he didn't break up with her, which is not a surprise to the audience because everyone knows that it's just what we see. It's just a poor phone communication tower, which was poorly translated. We'll get there, but the robot Candace actually will give it to Candace a new phone to make sure that Jeremy didn't break up with Candace, which is cheesy at times, but which is my main problem with this episode too.
Maybe it was a different platypus.
No, there's not, Isabella. Most of the platypuses are in Australia.
Australia's probably full of them.
And that is a callback to Iggy saying no kangaroos are in Africa.
And that is why there are no kangaroos in Africa, Buford.
Oh man, but he was right here. Gonna find him.
And the most anxious thing about this is Phineas is right. He is in Africa, but how did he see him from there? Which makes no sense. But overall, Phineas has a good assumption, and he is right.
I don't get it.
You can see the gang are very unsure, but they decide to follow him anyways. As you can see, Perry the Platypus in the shadow silhouette, as you get to see the color palette of it, as he looks at the Phineas and Ferb and the gang looking for him. I really love this shot too, as you can see the face of it, but which adds a bit of detail and soul to it. This was a missed opportunity of Perry the Platypus holding a picture of Phineas and Ferb while looking at it while the gang is looking for him. like earlier when Perry the Platypus wasn't in bed and looking at a picture of Phineas and Ferb, but this was a missed opportunity, which, in my opinion, which has some problems in this episode. Subtle details are very important to make the episode look promising, but it didn't happen.
Time to talk. In fact,
Why are you talking to Carl? Just remove your communicator, Perry. There we go. You could have done this way earlier, but then again, Carl is actually pretty smart.
red petals, 3 golden pistols, Africa.
Carl is just too good. He knows where to track Agent P. Well, Doofenshmirtz doesn't do that at times. It's only if Perry the Platypus tracked Doofenshmirtz because of the old WCA satellites.
Even have a go to Africa, Nader.
That's what I said. I was thinking he hit by the go home in it. He should be in the Finn Fletcher's house, not here. But why? There's no explanation of that.
Totally getting extra credit.
I really love when you can see the Finn Fletcher's house in the backyard. You can just see the extra doors, the door right there, the windows, the garage of the door there. It looks so good.
Was using me! Dr. Carl must be stopped.
And this is going to be the third time that Major Monogram will be working with Doof since Agent Doof.
To save Agent P.
Away, Jose!
Well, there's a wrestler called No Way Jose, so put it as you will.
Take over the tri-state area!
Carl takes it over first.
And that's where Doofenshmirtz realized that Major Monogram has a point, as they do need to work together to stop him.
But how? He took...
This makes no sense. Doofenshmirtz got the key out of his arse, which makes no sense. It would have been better if Carl gave Doofenshmirtz the key, or he throw the key away so that Doofenshmirtz could find the key if Major Monogram is actually stuck and he can break out. But this makes no sense. I know it would have been lazy, but it would have been a better interpretation than this. But this is so many randomness in this episode, which gives me a huge problem.
Oh, did he? Jet built just for me. It is so tight now.
Until you're no longer working for the government after Save Summer, and it will actually become like bankrupt, which could lead to a crisis.
We've got a world to save.
The way Major Monogram put the glasses on, he looks so cool.
Made these MC Asher?
They mentioned MC Escher again since gaming the assistant, and I'll show you who it is in the Wikipedia in the screen.
We've got a tri-state area to save.
The song is called Living with Monkeys, as LC Power provided the background voices, and it was confirmed during San Diego Comic-Con 2012, which is, this was before the episode came out, and now we're hearing it now. I really feel bad for Candace, even though she should have think of that Jeremy didn't break up with her, but she is going through a depression now, as she's going to be native as we're going to see it. And you see Linda's driving the car, Stacy's in the back. I don't remember Stacy being in the car with Phineas and Ferb and Candace. I really love how the camera's moving behind Candace as you get to see the view of Africa. That's an amazing shot right there.
That's a little strange.
Neither do I, Candace. Neither do I. That's D. Bradley Baker doing the monkey voice. He does a lot of animal voices, and he's an incredible voice actor. And now Candace is going to be in the Monkey Society as she learned how to train with them. I know this episode is filled with random, which is the huge problem in part 2, but I have no problem with the Candace scene, just like the Doofenshmirtz and Perry scenes in At Your Age, but we'll get there another time. Look at Phineas's face looking front while looking down. That's kind of weird.
Found our way back? Are you kidding? He's our pet. He's more than a pet. He's our friend.
Those statements are too, especially when Perry the Platypus roam free, including the second dimension where you caught up with each other, but memories erased, whatever.
We are in Africa.
And Balji is right, they are in Africa, which they could get lost or could hurt themselves into danger.
Well, has he been wrong before?
Prince, come on, gang.
Phineas knows Perry being in Africa makes a lot of sense, but the footprints makes no sense. But look at the footprints, it's just like 2 instead of 4. The only way that Phineas can see Perry the Platypus was in pet form instead of an agent, except the second dimension, of course. But how does he doesn't know? I know their memories got erased, but come on, man. This should be another issue to think. Another problem I have with this. Look at the animals looking at Perry. An elephant, a giraffe, a vulture, a rhino, a cheetah, a lion. There's a lot of different type of animals, but we all know that they're gonna be agents once they find Carl's robots. Evil Carl lands very well, even though he's a college student.
And find that platypus.
Robot Candace is going in a different direction just to look for the real Candace to contact about Jeremy.
Going to need that.
They should, but remember, Evil Carl is dangerous, so they have to do something while Doofus making the Goodinator.
Candy corn.
I really like how you can see Perry the Platypus in pet mode and in agent mode with the hat on the side there with Candace's robot point of view. Candace is entering her Tarzan persona as look at her acting like that.
Kendar.
Love, Jeremy.
As Candace singing away like Tarzan, you get to hear the theme of the Tri-Stone Area theme song.
He lost his tracks.
Platypuses love grubs.
I did my research, and yes, platypus can eat grubs, and they also can eat other insects like worms, shrimp, crayfish, and a lot of types of animal. We did mention about eating a fly in Brain Drain, as he does eat a lot more.
Like Ferb and haggis.
Which is a Scottish traditional dish, and also Ferb's Scottish background is mentioned again in the invasion of the Swerve Snatchers in season 2.
I get that grub eating patch.
Major Monogram's losing control of the old WCA jet thanks to Doofus building a Goodinator.
A re-goodinator.
Summit to Earth on fire.
Well, in outer launch, Doofus' space station's been destroyed, and he survived through that by landing in the river.
Here.
Maybe there is another way.
Here.
Hey! My gosh!
And he's back into pet mode after he was close to having his cover blown again, which would have made some concerned about it.
Too easy.
Great improvisation from Carl to blast the log for Phineas and Ferb and the gang to make sure that Perry the Platypus faced Carl. Well, it would have made too many complications, as it's going to be between Perry the Platypus and the animal agents in Africa versus Carl and his robots.
I'm evil. What can I say? Free time.
Not just the film fetchers, Vanessa, Norm, Doofus, Isabella, Buford and Balji, Grandpa Clyde and Irving all been turned into role. Carl has really up in his game. Looks like Perry the Platypus has called the cavalry. Looks like Perry the Platypus is locked in with the African agents in Alka, and it's confirmed that he's recruiting them.
No kidding!
The animation and the visual part is done very well. I have no complaints about that. The action is pretty good, I'll give them that. Animals fighting robots. This is what I want to see from a special. And Candace hears about the battle, what's going on, and she's gonna go there.
Everybody, get behind me.
Hang on.
Sand broke out a fall.
Phineas's improvisation saved the gang, but they're stuck in quicksand. There are videos that you can get out of the quicksand.
The more you fight it, the more it like pulls you in. Your leg up, the suction just pulls it back in. Just don't let you out of it. The sun. Bottom of a muddy lake, and both died in quicksand. Right. And pull your legs up towards the surface. Just try and control your breathing. And try and maneuver your chest. Just monkey crawl your way out. God, feels like I've got...
There are a lot of videos that are similar and know how to get out of the quicksand, but the experienced one is Bear Grylls. I'll put in the link down below. Look at Robot Vanessa doing combat, punch and kick. Where was this in the second dimension? Why didn't Carl call them in for more reinforcements?
Needed a stabilizer for.
Lucky the Alkajet you land was perfect, otherwise if you lit it wrong, that could have got you two killed.
I assure you for the rest of my life, every time I look back on this, I will personally drive over to your house and smack you.
We haven't had an episode where Major Monogram comes to his apartment and smack him. Maybe in the revival or season 6. Nice swinging skills from Candace.
Still need a few parts.
We're surrounded by parts.
That's the second time that Major Monogram wear his acrobat suit since Minor Monogram, which was his son's first appearance.
Put 'em up, handsome.
Major Monogram had barely been in the fight, and he beats up Robot Buford and Lawrence while the animals of the new recruits are getting their ass whipped. And of course, they're new recruits, so yeah. Run, Candace, run!
Know what I am going to destroy today.
And the Candace robot saved Candace, and if it wasn't for Jeremy scanning Jeremy earlier, then she would have got absolutely hit, but she saved her.
Jeremy, robot.
So, I was trying to tell you before, but we kept breaking up. Caught up with my band, but just for you. Call me when you can.
And Candace found out about it because Robot Candace scanned from the room earlier. But for the audience, it's not really a surprise because this is more like for building for Candace art, which is very good. But it's just that it is predictable to see.
Call him.
Man, how many phones does Candace have in season 3? Every time she has one, it either gets broken or she lost it. This is absolutely strange.
Jeremy! The tree, and I didn't have any service.
And Candace know that Jeremy didn't break up with her, which is actually good, prominent to her character, but the audience know.
About escaping from quicksand?
I'll bring it up at the next meeting.
I understand that Isabella is actually stuck in the quicksand like Phineas, but that is being rude here. That scene doesn't make any sense. In Summer Belongs to You, when Phineas was sitting down in the beautiful sunset with Isabella, Isabella motivated Phineas.
No, you are not going to enjoy this beautiful sunset. It's all on Verb's map how this is possible.
Isabella, you're the best.
I don't think Isabella's being rude to Phineas in that scene. It's just that she is just aggressive to him, which makes no sense for her character. Every time she is around Phineas, she always smiles. She always like enthusiastic, but not here.
Come down.
No! It's me. It is him, right?
On the vine. I'm sorry. It's him.
We still don't know what Buford pulls onto it, as someone asked Dan Provermar the question, but it's like he said, you typed it in, you can search it out, but we still don't know what Buford pulled on. Other than that, that's a good joke. Baljeet saved Buford's life earlier, and now it's Buford's turn to save Baljeet. And this is the third time that Baljeet's shown his pants as, was it Bully Bromance and the Bully Code.
A small piece of tape.
Tape?
Robot Monogram has lost his mustache. I just watched the latest episode, Bend It Like Doof, where it ended as a draw and Major Monogram had to shave his mustache while Doofenshmirtz lost his hair.
Heist, just shoot Carl with
Bit
it.
of an oversight, I guess.
We've seen Doofenshmirtz and Natus, it can swivel or just change direction and this, that, or ever, but not in this part right here. That means he has to get Carl into the right position to shoot him.
Serendipitous.
Wait, googly moogly, hunt that X.
He may be not as good to play soccer and football in the latest episode, but he can fight. Damn, he just beating them out of nothing. He's like, come here, you little bitch.
This over with.
I know Carl is evil, but why is he wearing a cape like that? Just to make him look evil, to make sense for the fashion, but yeah.
It's coming into range.
Did you see that? Major Monogram beats Robot Clyde without even looking with a single punch. He is the MVP in this part. And Doofenshmirtz once he blasts the Inator.
I'm gonna take it.
Game over, man.
Major Monogram saying game over is a reference to Aliens when Private Hudson said the same quote. And he does have the picture, just as I said earlier, but he should have done it earlier when Phineas and Ferb and the gang were looking for him to add that subtle detail, but they do it now in a good moment. When Carl turned evil, he got hit by the ultimate evil Inator and he get covered in that red aura, but he actually get hit by a face with a green, which is kind of underwhelming.
What a marksman.
Feel good.
Mess you made.
Yes, sir.
Major Monogram is still being an asshole to Carl even when he's evil or not, but cleaning up the pace out, it makes more sense.
Great help to me and do without you, in fact. Voting you to the title of Paid Intern.
It's nice to see Carl getting a step up as he's gone from paid intern, but we all know he's unpaid intern because of the title, but it will stop because the government will stop funding Alka in after Safe Summer, which could be the reason why they stopped paying him.
Title. Of course, sir.
And he does get paid until Alka becomes bankrupt in season 5, which forced him to work in night shift, and this comes back in full cycle in More Than an Intern.
I'm an unpaid intern. How afford to pay rent? Ship is actually costing me money. And to work like this, even in my off hours,
One of the hardest workers I know, for more than an intern. Good work, Agent P.
Harry!
Go on, you've earned it.
And that is one of my favorite scenes in this episode, where Major Monogram could have offered Perry the Platypus back to Danville with a jet, but Phineas wants Perry to be here in Africa, and Major Monogram lets him. That is a cool part.
Home is where the prisons are.
With how much innate damage he's caused to the city with self-destruction and that, he could have gone to prison. He did once. I like how the smoke builds up with the jet as they fly off. This is very good animation. Well done.
There you are, Perry. It's really here.
Phineas hugging Perry the Platypus, it reminds me of the times they spent together in the Octopus and in the second dimension. Very heartwarming.
Chill, guys. I got this.
And she has fully embraced Africa, even though Jerry misled to breaking up with Candy. It's actually very good for a character trait. And I did my research that the elephants are one of the most intelligent animals, and he forgot to drop their hat until Perry does.
Agent P got hit with the go-hominator.
Family, sir? Well, they're here in Africa.
Where the heart is, Carl.
I have a problem with the message, not at all, but some of it, because he got hit with a go home in it because of his family. He wants to, because of the heart. But it makes no sense because he said go home, Anita. He's supposed to be in Maple Drive instead of in Africa, which makes no sense. But we need full explanation about how did he send him here, but we don't get, which is another randomness in this episode.
Don't touch anything!
I did!
It was the restaurant.
Not my thing.
Ingredient. Grubs.
While the grubs are moving, you know what? I'll try it. I want to eat it.
I followed you all the way to Africa.
Well, the audience know, but Phineas and Ferb and Iggy, they don't know.
Ever since George Shaw wrote the first description of the platypus for highly skeptical European scientists in 1798, this unique creature has become synonymous with the word impossible.
And it is true, George Shaw, who produced the first description of an animal in the Nutrus Mascarii in 1799, so Ferb actually got it spot on. He is really doing his research.
Yeah.
And that's the second time everyone said, yeah, from the platypus. Remember when Ferb said there's only one Perry, and everyone said, yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of great days, but we only have one Perry.
Yeah.
A platypus crosses the Atlantic Ocean. One feels this is worthy of a longer discussion.
It's true, platypus can actually swim, but that's not the full story here, Candace.
Go to sleep. Yeah.
Buddies with me here?
Man, part 1 has some very interesting concept which could have led to something good. It was decent in part 2, but there are some few things that completely overshadow, which is a very conflicting note. Many people will be surprised with the plot score, but it's gonna get a 1 for me. To be fair, there are lots of interesting things that set up for Where's Perry part 1 to part 2, but it didn't quite land. Let's start with the Phineas finding Perry with the gang, but to be honest, it felt rushed kind of ways. Even though they were on character with it, we get to see Carl be arriving at Danville in Maple Drive to find Perry the Platypus so he could use the blueprint to take over the tri-state area as he went to Africa, which is a very smart move, and it is very good at that. And I really love that Major Monogram and Duffer traveled to Africa to stop Carl to save Agent P and turn Carl back to normal. And I really like Candace's part. To me, it makes no sense. It's very similar to Unfair Science Fair, where she was the Queen of Mars. Now she's living with monkeys as well. It's good for the character, but I really have no problem with the episode. It's just that it lacks something about it, but I have no problem with it at all. I do have problem with this quicksand with Isabella Alcala, but we discuss about it later. And Perry the Platypus recruits some animal agents, which is cool, and to fight along with Major Monogram and Duffer, while Duffer uses a good innovator to turn Carl back to normal. Major Monogram tells him that he is getting paid, which wasn't the case as the government no longer found in Alka, as it has gone bankrupt in season 5 as it resets back to it again, which is annoying. and also the Go Hominator that never get fully inspiration, which is beyond me. Overall, they are filled with so many randomness, which is the most annoying part of this episode. Characterization will get a 4. Everyone's on point in this episode, which I have no problem. It's about consistency of Phineas and Ferb, but not much of go through it, except Major Monogram and Doofenshmirtz, who work each other to stop Evil Carl, even though he kind of got repetitive towards the end. I do think Evil Carl is very interesting as he came closer to use the pulpit to take over the tri-state area, as Perry recruited new agents of the old WCA in Africa. Is what I like to see, as Perry the Platypus formed his own army to destroy all the robots, as Phineas and Ferb act in character to find Perry, even though it's rushed. I didn't like how Isabella's attitude when she said, "I'll bring you up in the next meeting." It is completely out of character, even though Bauchi and Buford are in character in Africa, which I have no problem. My only problem is with Candace. It is for the development of character, which I get, but she is very self-esteemed that Jeremy broke up with her, which turned out to be a phone miscommunication, which actually causes the thing to break up. But I don't have problem with Candace with the song and hang around with Monkey as she's bracing Africa, which is a good thing for her character. But the only problem with her, she is kind of self-esteemed a bit. And also the grub eating patch with Isabella has, which doesn't get resolution towards the end, which is kind of disappointment to me. The visuals is a 5. Even if the episode doesn't feel like the part 1, but you can't deny about the visual. Living with monkeys, with Candace, embracing Africa like a Tarzan, Phineas and Ferb and the gang finding Perry the Platypus were going on the water with quicksand, the jokes land, also the robots that Carl used to with Perry the Platypus, new animals in Africa to fight with action, which turned out to be decent action, and a lot of things to pull out the filler of this episode with the animation and combining with a lot of stuff, which is great. Importance, it's a 4. Entertainment, I'm gonna have to give it a 4. There are a lot of entertaining things in this episode, like the Perry animals recruited in Africa versus Carl's robots, Candace with the song with Living with Monkeys, and the Phineas and Ferb part finding Perry. Kind of boils down a bit, which is the reason I take points away. But I really love the dynamic duo of Major Monogram and Doofenshmirtz to help stop Carl, which was interesting. There's a lot of good things happening there. And that leaves off with the total score of 18 out of 25. For a score like this isn't bad, but for the standard of build up from part 1, it's just very disappointing to me. It's just filled with randomness. Some scenes just doesn't make any sense. And there's actually a big payoff, but no resolution to the end. How does actually Doofenshmirtz invented the Go Hominator? Which did he use a reverse switch? Did he switch things or whatever? We need full inspiration, which is the only disappointing part. It would have been better if it's a part 1, part 2 merging together as a 40-minute special, but the only thing that killed it was we had to wait weeks before that, which is the big problem, but that's not what we're talking about. It's just that there are many problems with this special, and if you like it, then put it down in the comments down below. Do I think it's bad? No. Is it pretty underwhelming? Yes. It could have been much better for a lot of things going through it in Africa and some sections there, but that wasn't the case, and it leads to randomness and no resolution, which is a big disappointment to me. Major Monogram saying these cool lines and wearing glasses, which is similar to Lieutenant Kane in CSI Miami. Ferb said at the end that George Shaw actually published the first description of the platypus within 98, but is actually incorrect, which is actually in the 17th century. As Worst Perry Part 2 is completed, there are 3 episodes left before we get into the movie, and 2 of them being the last 11-minute episode and one that focuses on Dr. Doofenshmirtz. And the last episode where I do will be around the charts, comparing it to Season 1 and Season 2, just like my previous breakdown. I also did a poll on which organization would you join first, the OWCA or Love Muffin. While 30% vote for Love Muffin, while 70% vote for Alcar. And to be honest, even with government being not funding them anymore and being bankrupt, I will join them too. And if Stacy become like the first human who could join Alka, so could I as well. As I'm gonna do a poll which anyone will guess to think what it is. Should Where's Perry Part 1 and Part 2 merge into a 40-minute special instead of separate like Part 1 released in the next couple of months? Let me know in the community tab when it goes live, and until then, hope you have a fantastic day. As always, see ya.